Today you will say the only prayer that brings miracles in 24 hours. The prayer that is born from Psalm 40, a psalm of crying out, of waiting, of answer, and of transformation. It does not matter how long you have been carrying this pain, this impossible situation, this waiting that seems eternal. Today, before this word, something begins to be aligned in the spiritual world. There are prayers that move mountains. There are prayers that break chains. There are prayers that change destinies. And there are prayers that do this quickly. Psalm 40 is one of them, because it is born from this encounter between human pain and divine response, between the limits of man and the action of God. It is not a common prayer. It is a calling, a deep request, a total surrender. And when you pray like this, from the depths of your soul, something moves. Maybe you are tired of empty promises, of people saying that God will act, but nothing happens. Maybe you wonder if God still sees you, if He still hears you, if He still cares. Maybe you have reached the point of saying, I can't take it anymore. This prayer is for those who have reached their limit, for those who are emotionally hanging on, for those who need an immediate intervention, because it is simply no longer possible to wait. Today you will open the door to the miracle that was being held back. Today you will say the prayer that opens heaven, that confirms the answer, and that begins the work of God. Because when David wrote Psalm 40, he was exactly like this, tired, pressured, trapped in a situation he could not solve. And that is why the psalm begins with such a deep declaration. I waited patiently for the Lord, and He inclined to me and heard my cry. He brought me up out of a pit of destruction, out of the miry clay, set my feet upon a rock, and established my steps. This is the prayer of those who are tired of fighting alone. This is the prayer of those who feel inside a pit, without strength, without a way out. It is the prayer of those who need God to incline Himself and do something urgently. And that is why today we begin by saying, Lord, incline your ears to me. Hear my cry. I am not making common prayer. I am not repeating empty words. Today I come to you because I need your intervention in areas of my life that only you can touch. I need a miracle that does not depend on people, that does not depend on time, that does not depend on circumstances, that does not depend on my strength. I need your direct, clear, immediate action. I need you to do what is above logic, what goes beyond the natural. I need you to do in 24 hours what I could not do in years. Father, when I look at the situation that I carry in my heart, I realize that I am inside this pit. A pit of fear, of anxiety, of debts, of sickness, of conflicts, of injustices, of waiting that is too long. A pit of emotional exhaustion that no one sees, because on the outside I even try to appear strong, but inside I know I am close to giving up. And that is why I ask you, incline your ears to me. Touch what no one can touch. See what no one sees. Enter where no one can enter. Lord, take me out of this pit. And while I pray, I recognize something. This miracle does not depend on me. It does not depend on my abilities, my attempts, my plans. I tried, I fought, I did what I could. I spent nights without sleep. I cried in silence. I was waiting for some change, but the situation only seemed to get worse. I asked for help, but no one understood the depth of my suffering. And now I stand before you, Lord, because only you can act. Only you have the power to turn the impossible into possible. Only you have the power to change what already seems lost. Only you have the power to open doors that no one can open and close doors that no one can close. Only you have the power to manifest a miracle in 24 hours. And so I declare, based on Psalm 40, that today something will begin. Today, I disconnect from fear. Today, I silence the voices of defeat. Today, I abandon the feeling that I am alone. Today, I ask that you place me upon the rock, establish my steps, change my path, take me out of this emotional and spiritual instability that has been consuming me. Today, I cry out that you, with your mighty hand, lift me from that mire of confusion, delay, injustice, and uncertainty. Today I pray that you establish in me a new foundation, a new beginning, a new cycle. I know that many miracles begin in the unseen. I know that often you work in silence. But today I ask you for something specific. Manifest a visible sign. Open a door that I will see with my own eyes. Change a circumstance in a clear way. Bring back what seemed lost. Untie what was bound. Break what was blocking me. Undo the trap that was set against me. Interrupt the work of the enemy. Break any spiritual resistance that was trying to stop my victory. I want to see in the next 24 hours the proof that you heard my prayer. And I pray like this, not out of arrogance, but because Psalm 40 itself teaches me to cry out with boldness. David said, "He inclined and heard my cry." This is not just any statement. He did not say that God maybe heard or partially heard. He said that God heard. And when God hears, God acts. When God hears, miracles happen. When God hears, things change. When God hears, no spiritual force can stop his hand. That is why today I pray with confidence, because I know that you are listening to me. I know that you are here. I know that you are moving something for me right now, even if I cannot yet see it. Father, look at this specific area of my life where I need a miracle. Maybe it is healing. Maybe it is deliverance. Maybe it is a job opportunity. Maybe it is restoration. Maybe it is an urgent answer in something that is taking away my sleep. Maybe it is protection. Maybe it is a change that seems humanly impossible. I surrender everything before your altar. I place this situation in your hands, because trusting in myself brought me to this pit. Trusting in you will take me out of it. I ask you, Lord, take me out of this emotional, professional, financial, and family mire. Break the cycle of defeats. Open paths where I cannot see a way out. Transform the environment around me. Give me strength where I was weak. Bring hope where I was dry. Bring light where I only saw darkness. Bring peace where I felt confusion. I pray that in the next 24 hours you manifest your hand with power in my life. And as I pray, I feel that something is changing. Not because I see it, but because I believe. Not because there are signs, but because there is faith. So I declare, I receive. I receive the way out. I receive the answer. I receive the miracle. I receive the transformation. I receive the supernatural action of God in my path. And I declare that this is the only prayer that brings miracles in 24 hours, not because it is a formula, but because it is a prayer that is born from true desperation and true faith, from the encounter between human weakness and divine power. Today, Lord, my miracle begins. And as you continue in this atmosphere of deep crying out, it is important to understand that Psalm 40 is not just a request for help, but a testimony of someone who has already experienced the work of God in impossible moments. That is why, in the continuation of Psalm 40, the text reveals to us that when God intervenes, he not only takes us out of the pit, but completely transforms the environment around us, places a new song on our lips, and changes our story in such a clear way that others begin to see the miracle reflected in our lives. This is the kind of miracle you are seeking today. Not an invisible, abstract, emotional miracle, but a real, concrete, tangible miracle that manifests the glory of God in your life so clearly that even those who doubted your process will see that the Lord sustained you. Therefore, in this second part of the prayer, we will deepen this request. We will not only ask to be taken out of the pit, we will ask for God to place you on a new level. We will ask the Lord to gather every tear you have shed, every humiliation you have endured, every door that has been closed, every pain, and transform all of it into testimony. And just like David, you will say, "Many will see and fear and will trust in the Lord." What God will do in your life will be so evident that destiny itself will have to bow before the promise. The miracle that is coming will not only solve a problem, but will change your entire journey. So begin by saying, "Lord, I thank you because I know that you are hearing my prayer." Even before seeing any change, I declare deep gratitude for what is being moved in the spiritual world right now. I know that every word that comes out of my mouth in this prayer is being recorded in heaven. I know that you are sending angels to align what was out of order. I know that you are touching places where my feet have never reached. I know that you are breaking invisible resistance that was preventing my victory. I know that you are unlocking paths that have been closed for years. Father, I thank you for the miracle that has already begun, even if I cannot yet see it with my natural eyes. And I ask you, Lord, to continue taking me out of every emotional cycle that imprisons me. Deliver me from the internal voices that tell me that nothing will change, that it is too late, that I am not capable, that I am not worthy. Silence the thoughts that try to convince me that my life will always be like this. Lord, change my mind before you change my reality. Teach me to think like someone who expects a miracle. Teach me to feel like someone who trusts in your hand. Teach me to walk like someone who lives by faith. Remove from me the fear that paralyzes, the anxiety that suffocates, the insecurity that makes me question if I am loved. Place in me the courage of someone who knows that you are working in my favor. Father, I ask that from this moment on, you remove from me everything that delays my miracle. Remove negative people, discouraging words, environments that steal my faith, influences that drain my strength. Remove from me every spiritual force that tries to prevent me from seeing your glory. Break the ties that keep me bound to a past that should have already been buried. And if there is any spiritual, emotional, or mental alliance that is blocking my victory, I declare now by the authority of the Lord that it is broken. Let every weight fall. Let every shadow disappear. Let everything that was oppressing my spirit be undone. And Lord, I ask you for something even deeper. Create in me a heart capable of perceiving the movement of God. Because many times the miracle begins before I can understand it. Many times you are opening doors and I do not see it. Many times you are sending answers and I do not recognize them. Give me spiritual eyes to identify your hand in the details. Give me wisdom to recognize the right direction. Give me sensitivity to perceive when you are speaking to me. Lord, give me discernment to know when it is time to move forward, when it is time to wait, when it is time to be silent, and when it is time to act. Remove from me every noise that hinders my perception and open within me a direct channel with heaven. Because, Lord, I do not want to just receive a miracle. I want to learn to walk with you in an intimate and deep way. I want to hear you clearly. I want to feel you truly. I want to understand your signs. I want to live under your guidance. I want to be so aligned with you that no storm can take me off course. And for this reason, I pray, establish my steps on a rock. Build my life on solid foundations. Construct my journey on what is eternal. And if there has been any area where I relied on something fragile, unstable, or temporary, I ask you to rebuild everything on a rock of your word. Father, you know where I am weak. You know where I have fallen. You know where I have been wounded. You know my internal battles, those that no one imagines. You see my silent struggles, those that I myself am ashamed to admit. You see the weight I carry on my shoulders, the weariness in my eyes, the exhaustion in my heart. And that is why I cry out, renew me, breathe a new breath into me. Touch my soul with your rest, restore my emotions, heal my deepest wounds, purify the marks that still hurt me. Transform what still hurts, shape what is still broken. And as you heal me within, Lord, I also ask you to heal what is around me. Enter my home, enter my relationships, enter my finances, enter my decisions, enter my projects, enter the areas where I lost strength, enter the places where I was defeated. Enter where I had no victory. Enter where no one else can enter. Touch what no one can touch. Move what no one can move. Only you have this power, this authority, this sovereignty. And that is why I surrender everything to you. At the same time, I ask you for courage to obey your voice, because many times the miracle happens through an instruction. And sometimes this instruction seems strange, challenging, outside of logic, but if it comes from you, I know it is perfect. So I say, speak to me, Lord. Give me clear direction. Show me the next step. If I must move forward, confirm it. If I must step back, warn me. If I must wait, strengthen me. If I must start again, guide me. If I must cut ties, show me. If I must open doors, lead me. I want to be positioned exactly where you need me to be so that the miracle may manifest. And just as David declared in Psalm 40, blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord. I declare that my trust is in the Lord, is not in people, not in systems, not in human promises, not in natural opportunities. My trust is in the God who created the heavens and the earth, who has all power to transform my story and make the impossible happen. And therefore, I say with spiritual authority, I believe that in the coming hours I will see signs of your work. Not because I deserve it, but because you are God. Not because I have strength, but because you have power. Not because the situation is favorable, but because your word is greater than any situation. And I pray, Lord, that a new song be placed in my mouth. Not a song of defeat, fear, or despair, but a song of victory, faith, and gratitude. May my life reflect your miracle. May my testimony inspire others. May those who doubted my journey see what you are doing. May those who hurt me realize that I did not walk alone. May those who try to bring me down understand that my strength comes from heaven. May everyone see that it is you who sustains me. Father, prepare my spirit for what is coming. Prepare my heart to receive the miracle. Prepare my mind to handle the turning point you will bring. Prepare my life for the new beginning that is about to start. Let nothing surprise me negatively. Let nothing frighten me. Let nothing paralyze me. May I receive with maturity, balance, and faith everything that you are about to pour out over me. And so I continue praying, trusting that you are moving heaven in my favor. But now, as you continue listening to these words, I want you to notice what God has already begun to awaken within you. Because when a heart decides to wait with faith, even tired, even wounded, even without understanding the reason for so many delays, that heart becomes the exact place where God chooses to begin a miracle. Psalm 40 is not just an ancient prayer. It is a spiritual decree. It is a movement from heaven toward the lives of those who no longer had the strength to move. It is the living proof that God's timing does not fail, does not delay, and is never lost. And now, in this very moment, He is visiting your story. He is moving in areas you had already stopped touching. He is illuminating situations you had buried. He is reviving hopes you had already declared dead. Because the prayer of Psalm 40 is exactly that, a reunion between your human limit and divine intervention that arrives when you have nothing left but faith. And maybe you are among those who say, I have waited too long. Maybe you're among those who feel they gave everything and still received little. Maybe you are someone who grew tired, who prayed, who pleaded, who tried to be strong while no one saw the tears hidden behind your calmness. But now, in the presence of this prayer, something within you rises. Not superficial enthusiasm, not a passing motivation, but a silent, deep, almost indescribable faith, a certainty you cannot explain, but you feel. God is about to act, and when He decides to act, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop His movement. The psalmist says, He inclined His ears to me. This means that God did not just hear, He paid attention. He did not just notice, He fully turned Himself toward you. And when God inclines, the miracle has already begun. When God inclines, doors begin to unlock. When God inclines, what was buried begins to rise again. When God inclines, the impossible becomes a stage for the extraordinary. And that is why, even if you do not yet see it, something is moving behind the scenes. Something is being directed, calmed, aligned, and transformed in your favor. And no matter how much your mind tries to resist, no matter how much you try to convince yourself that maybe this is not the time, God is saying, I will do it. Not maybe, not someday. He is saying, I will do it because you did not come this far by chance. Because your struggle was not ignored. Because your tears were not wasted. Because your silence was not overlooked. Because your pain did not go unnoticed. God knows every detail that no one else sees. He knows every internal battle you fight alone. He knows where it hurts, where it lacks, where it weighs, where it repeats. He knows how many times you took a deep breath just to keep going. He knows how many times you stood up with no strength at all. And that is why He says now, through this prayer, I am taking you out of the pit. I am placing your feet upon the rock. I am establishing your steps. And when He establishes your steps, everything changes. Situations that were once unstable begin to solidify. What was uncertain begins to take shape. What was confused begins to clear. What seemed stuck begins to move. Because when God decides to establish your steps, He does not only establish what is around you, He establishes you from within. He strengthens your mind. He sustains your emotions. He calms your spirit. He restores direction. He restores discernment. He restores courage. He restores what exhaustion has taken from you. And then, as a natural consequence of divine action, what you have been waiting for so long begins to flow. Because the prayer of Psalm 40 does not act only in the visible realm, it reaches the roots. It enters where no one else can enter. It heals what no one else can reach. It transforms what you yourself try to change and could not. It breaks patterns, breaks cycles, loosens chains, and establishes a new season. And maybe that is frightening, because deep changes are always frightening. But God did not bring you this far to leave you in fear. He brought you here to show you that He is still the God who changes destinies in 24 hours, who changes stories in the blink of an eye, who turns pages that seemed written in stone. And even if you have lived through years of pain, He can transform it in an instant. Even if you have faced months of waiting, He can answer in a single day. Even if you have cried in silence for a long time, He can lift you up before the sun sets. Because miracles do not depend on logic, they depend on divine intervention. And God is not limited by time, by circumstances, by diagnoses, by closed doors, or by human opinions. He is above all of this. He is sovereign over all of this. He is still the same one who resurrects, who restores, who rebuilds, who gives life where there is death, who creates a path where there is no road. And while you listen to this prayer, heaven is working in your favor. Angels are being sent, situations are being moved, people are being touched. The impossible is being rearranged to become possible because God knows the exact time, the exact hour, the exact moment to intervene. And He is saying, now is your moment. Maybe you do not feel ready. Maybe you do not feel worthy. Maybe you think you do not deserve it. But God works by grace, not by merit. He gives because He loves, not because you have earned it. He opens paths because He is a Father, not because you did everything right. He reaches you because He is merciful, not because you are perfect. And now, at the end of this prayer, surrender to Him everything that still weighs on you. Surrender your fear, your anxiety, your doubt, your discouragement, your weariness. Surrender your questions, your whys, your I don't know anymore. Surrender every area where you feel stuck. Surrender every reality that you cannot change and declare, even if in silence, Lord, I wait on you, because this simple declaration is enough to move heaven in your favor. It is enough for God to begin something that you could never initiate on your own. It is enough to activate the miracle He has already prepared for you. And when you rise after this prayer, something within you will no longer be the same. You will feel lightness where there was once heaviness. You will feel peace where there was once agitation. You will feel hope where there was once despair. Because God is working. He is transforming. He is taking you out of the pit. He is placing your feet on the rock. He is establishing your steps. He is writing the next chapter of your story. And this chapter will be marked by answer, change, restoration, and miracle. Not because you deserve it, but because He loves you. Not because you earned it, but because He decided to do it. And when God decides to act, no one can stop Him. Subscribe to the channel, share this prayer so it can reach others who are going through the same situation, and leave your comment. Amen.